The purpose of the large spaces between the logs is to help secure the top log and to provide space for larger animals. When I began this project, I had the same concerns all of you have right now, rodents. Before I began the project, I had a trap in the garage, one in the basement, and one in the kitchen. Twice a year in spring and fall, I had to make sure that capture and release traps were ready. Each year I would get a visitor or more, some years worse than others. In the 3 years since I began, the number of mice has dropped to 0. Why? One morning my wife revealed the answer. The security camera had picked up a Virginia opossum dutifully patrolling the grounds around the house morning and night and near the home he had made in one of our CWD wildlife homes. The Virginia possum is very fond of mice and will find out where they live. The cats have made fewer visits, which has put the local chipmunk population at ease. The goal of wildlife habitat is biodiversity. The major reason to provide these CWD wildlife homes is to ensure the wildlife that already exists in the neighborhood has a safe habitat with a reliable source of food plants to help maintain their numbers. With increased encroachment of human habitation and the disruption to nature with human activities, the Mount Joy Butterfly Conservatory is dedicated to increasing the effectiveness the limited 1,500 square foot conservatory can provide. This may sound tiny, but I have counted over 45 species of birds, 27 species of animals, and 70 species of insects, and counting. The important idea is that a lot of these species are not just visitors passing through, but permanent residents. As permanent residents, the CWD wildlife homes are altered over time by the residents to become more useful to even more species. We provide nature with the building materials and watch what it will do with them. I would try and force plants to live where I wanted them to. Now, when I introduce a new native plant, I make sure to plant them in 3 or more different areas. If you are lucky, 1 or 2 of them will survive at least 3 or more years. In a garden with over 100 species of plants in continuous cover and close contact in very close competition with each other, only those in a location that they can succeed in will survive over time. The competition is tough. One species I just had to have was crowded out year after year. I was forced to cover the area year after year with new plants until the plants and I had adapted. Now the area is covered as I had hoped. Mostly time and persistence will get the job done. Now this little plant has the support of its peers to help cope with much larger and more aggressive Ontario wildflowers. The conservatory has a garden of essentially native weeds with many species of native berries and fruit. Some introduced species such as clover and buckwheat are used as a ground cover and pollinator food with forage food for animals and birds. Rabbits are quite fond of clover. Every year the quality of the fruit and berries goes up as new species of pollinators discover and move in to this wildlife oasis. How I arrived at the conclusion that a full-on CWD wildlife habitat was more desirable than a more modest approach comes from the old nursery rhyme about the old lady who swallowed a goat to eventually catch a fly. My fruit and berries were attacked year after year by something bad and different every year. Small, not so good fruit and berries. As the woody debris built up below the berry canes, so did the population of insect predators. I would see Japanese beetles fall off a raspberry leaf and crawl right back up. Not anymore. When they fall into the sticks and debris litter covered the entire garden surface, something is waiting for them. The ground-dwelling predators will eat the eggs and larvae of other insects, helping to keep their numbers down. The larger up the scale of nature you can support more diversity and self-regulation the wildlife garden will be. The added benefit is the amount and quality of fruit and berries gets better every year. Now birds, instead of passing through, stop and sit on a raspberry cane, taking the time to snack on a Japanese beetle or two. They must not be very tasty because they will only eat a few. Wildlife now has a reason to stay and thrive, providing me and my family with animal life entertainment year round as wildlife and our family learn to live together. By providing homes for more diverse species, the goat and fly will take care of themselves, and the old lady can enjoy an afternoon tea on the garden terrace with beauty and balance all around. No gardening required. Just add woody debris each year to top up the loss to decomposition. Fungus, bacteria, and microorganisms in cooperation with plants will take care of themselves, as you will see in the next video. I have discovered that as long as the CWD and woody debris are in good contact with moist soil and are in a state of decomposition, then the correct environment will be achieved for plant, animal, protist, fungi, and bacteria predators. These predators will help maintain the ecosystem as long as they have somewhere to live. The benefits are you can easily achieve an organic permaculture wildlife preserve with the added benefit of tasty fruit, vegetables, berries, and mushrooms in abundance all year. If you pile up some logs and sticks in a dry area without contact to moist soil, that is when you will get unwanted pests. By maintaining a continuous ground cover and a leaf litter composed of various sizes of sticks, branches, and logs, the soil surface temperature will be significantly lower than for bare soil exposed to the sun. When the soil temperatures are too high, microorganisms in the soil die, and the soil becomes less friable and permeable to water. Continuous and undisturbed soil cover is beneficial for the entire garden and will breed diverse and interesting to watch wildlife. In conclusion, I have not yet experienced anything unpleasant, such as an infestation of some species out of control, or any bad results so far with the use of CWD wildlife homes. The number of birds and pollinator insects in the area has improved. If more people begin using their garden spaces to support native plant species with the add-on of a CWD wildlife home, or even more, then species will thrive and visit all of us. I found quite a bit of material about CWD and its critical role in wildlife environment on Canadian government websites, in particular the British Columbia Government Forestry website, where I found detailed information of habitats with different types of trees and various sizes of CWD and their effect on wildlife. Several YouTube videos done by university students for forestry studies assignments also help to define and guide the creation of smaller homes for use in urban environments. Unless you would like a moose to visit, stick to more modest sizes of logs. The York Region and Markham government websites also offered some help on gardens and wildlife. The Ontario Wildlife Foundation and the Canadian Wildlife Federation also have suggestions that help to guide the creation of these CWD wildlife homes. I hope you find the time to build a CWD wildlife home for your wildlife conservation area. If you do, let me know how it turned out. Please consider subscribing and liking this video if you found the information of value. Leave me a comment on what you think about CWD wildlife homes. Take it easy.